Eu puxa e na
Springbok Rugby on the precipice of Rugby Championship glory. 3 takes on 4 today from Nelspruit and Mbombela as South Africa take the New Zealanders hopefully to task in this week number 1 of the 2022 Rugby Championship. My name is David Midgley. Alongside for this first quarter of the game, Otto Simon, Ken Borland will be joining us a little bit later. You are listening to One World Sports Radio. Tweet us at One World SR. Go to the YouTube page, give it a big old thumbs up. Go to the Facebook page, do likewise with perhaps your left hand. Go back to our YouTube channel. Ring the bell, subscribe to the channel because you want to know when we're going live for every single moment of Rugby Championship 2022. Mbombela Stadium is where we find ourselves today. Wherever you are, tweet us in at One World SR. You can leave your comments on YouTube and Facebook alike. It is a game that could have all the trappings of a world-class encounter. Malcolm Marx running out today for his 50th Test match cap. The Springboks, not too dissimilar to a team that you would expect to see in times gone by. New Zealand having struggled in recent times, only winning 1 out of their last 5 encounters with 3 losses to Ireland and 1 to France, with only that solitary victory over Ireland. South Africa in the other end of the spectrum, only losing 2, 1 against Wales in that recently completed inbound series, and the end of last year, 1 point away from beating a very strong English side. Otto Simon, good afternoon and welcome to you.
Hey, Coach Dave. As we see Malcolm Marx leading the team onto the field, and we see the Warriors, the 3 Warriors for the Springboks, inviting the challenge from New Zealand. They're already lined up for their national anthem, and after that, of course, the haka. Very excited about this match. Springboks by 6 is my prediction. I think this team is just a little bit better prepared than the All Blacks, and the home advantage along with that. The All Blacks looked really undercooked against Ireland, and I was so looking forward to this match. But having said that, those Kiwis, they're always up for it, Coach David. They're going to give it to us this afternoon as hard as they can, and let's hope the Springboks can take it and give back a little bit more.
Absolutely. Speaking of that Kiwi side, we'll run through the players for you, and then my colleague Otto will make sure he covers the men in green and gold, the hosts. So, for the visitors, George Boer, Samisoni Takoeo, and Angus Tavao are your front 3. Sam Whitelock with 134 caps, his 135th today, with Scott Barrett as your lock pairing, Akira Ioane and Sam Kane, the Kiwis captain, are your lock pairings with Ardie Savea, a face that is not foreign to any South African fan, with his 63rd cap today at number 8. Aaron Smith, one of the 2 Centurions in the halfback pairing with Beauden Barrett, 106 and 105 for them collected today. Caleb Clark and Will Jordan are your wings at left and right, respectively, whilst David Havili and Rico Ioane with his 51st cap today are your centre pairings. Geordie Barrett, another Barrett, is at number 15. Your replacements, Dane Coles, Ethan de Groot, or de Groot as they'd call him, Tyrell Lomax are your replacement forwards. Tupuo Va'ai, as well as Shannon Fritzl, are some spare forwards. And then Finlay Christie, Richie Moanga, and Quinn Tupea are your replacements that have yet to be named.
So for the Springboks, starting at the front from number 1 to 15, Trevor Nyakane at loosehead prop, Malcolm Marks, the hooker, playing his 50th. Frans Malherbe at tight head, Eben Etzebeth and Lotte Jager the locks. Sia Kolisi and Pieter Stef de Tooy, the two flankers. Jasper Wiese at the back of the scrum. Number 9, Faf de Klerk, back in the team after being dropped. Strong signal there from Coach Nienaber. Even if you have awesome speedos in your closet, you're not guaranteed a place in the national team. Andre Pollard at 10, Makazolo Mapimpi at 11, Damien Dalenda and Lucanio Am in the centre pair, Kurtley Arendse having a dream start to his test career so far on the right wing, and Damian Willemse at the back. The replacements, Bongiam Bonambi, replacement hooker, Stephen Kitsoff, and Vincent Koch, the replacement props. So Kitsoff will be the loosehead prop replacement with Koch on tight head. Salman Murat and Franco Mostert, along with Kwagga Smit. Kwagga Smit, the flank replacement. Franco Mostert can change in between lock and flank. And then Jaden Hendrikse, scrum half replacement, with Willie Leroux, the only back line player replacement. So no doubt Andre Pollard might be replaced at some point. Either himself or Damien Willemse will be swapped out for Willie Leroux. If Willie Leroux comes onto the field and Pollard goes off, that means that Willemse will slot into that number 10 spot, which he's been doing so well in the domestic leagues. The last 5 results between these two teams, and thank you very much for the stats pack, Coach David. South Africa against Wales, of course, won that last test match. South Africa lost to Wales before that, beat them in the first game of that series, and then on last year's end of year tour, South Africa lost to England and beat Scotland. New Zealand, in their last 5 matches, they've played 3 matches against Ireland, 1 against France at home, and then another against Ireland in Ireland at the end of your tour last year, and they've only won the first test of Ireland's tour to New Zealand. So they are under huge pressure, especially the coaching staff. Everybody seems to be piling onto the coaching staff because of their poor form in the past 5 matches. But they beat Ireland 42-19 in that first match, and then they lost quite handsomely, you would say. Handsome victories for Ireland. Ireland's first win against New Zealand in New Zealand, and their first series victory against New Zealand. South Africa also on the wrong side of the history-making stats. They're losing to Wales for the first time at home. Yeah, so absolutely. It's going to be very, very interesting to see who bounces back the best.
Definitely a day for rugby. It is an immaculate turf there at Mbombela Stadium in Nelspruit. A stadium initially purposely built for the FIFA World Cup in 2010. Your refereeing team this afternoon, Angus Gardner, the Australian, with Luke Pearce and Christoph Ridley from England, and his partner behind the TV screen this evening is Brett Cronin, also from Australia. South Africa 88.61 on the world rankings, whereas New Zealand are 86.93. So there is a small margin for error here. But what we will say before we do get underway, go to our YouTube page, thumbs up on the video, subscribe, ding the bell. You'll know exactly when we go live, all the way through Rugby Championship, because we want to bring you every single moment of the action. Otto Simon, it's always an occasion when the All Blacks line up for the haka, and it's never more intimidating than the first game of a Rugby Championship. Today, leading it is Aaron Smith, 105 caps, 3 Centurions in this New Zealand side, and boy, oh boy, will the Springboks be feeling up for it.
Now, the Arrowhead is formed in Nelspruit in the eastern part of the country, the northeastern part of the country, close to the border between South Africa and Mozambique, is the city of Mbombela, and very calm face by Siya Kolisi there facing the haka, and the All Blacks being led in the haka by Aaron Smith, as is their tradition, and they're doing that the other one, not the original one, the other one. I forget what they call the choir performance that they do before the match starts. So
it's
I will
25
be
degrees Celsius with 53% humidity. Wind is 13 kilometers an hour, so you know that it's good for rugby. We might see a little bit more kicking. Currently, though, 10 k's an hour on the southwesterly direction. So probably a west-southwest is where the wind is blowing today. So no struggle in terms of the ability for the ball to carry. Kickoff is going to be crucial here. And as I said before, my name is Coach Dave, David Midgley, alongside Otto Simon. Ken Borland will be joining us later in the game here. You mentioned that you were saying, Otto, the box by 6, why such a narrow margin? Do you think it's the All Blacks that are going to change the game, or is it just a continuation of form?
Well, it's always a tough test match between these two nations. No quarter given, none asked. So it's going to be very surprising to me if it's a blowout from either side. If one side is going to run away with it, it will be the All Blacks, because once they get going, or if you drop your guard in that last 10 minutes, last 15 minutes of each half, they can really pile on the pain. One mistake could be 14 points. So the All Blacks will be kicking off on our screens from right to left. I'll start us off with the play-by-play as Beauden Barrett kicks to the near side of the field, and it's caught by Jasper Wiese behind his 22. He's brought down on the near side of the field. Paf de Klerk at the back of that ruck, lining up for the box kick with the left foot, and he goes behind the back of Pieter Steph du Toit, and the ball comes down 5 meters in from the near side touchline, caught by Geordie Barrett, passes to his brother who's tackled inside the All Blacks half, and they send the ball out to Angus Taovao. This time it is number 11, Caleb Clark, who gets brought down just inside the New Zealand half, and Paf de Klerk is down on the near side of the field. The referee stops the game because it looks like he's had some severe injury there. Let's hope he's okay. We'll see soon. And as he went in to tackle Caleb Clark, he connected with the left knee of Caleb Clark to his temple, and so that was a bad knock. Yeah, his head was on the wrong side of that tackle as Caleb Clark stepped inside the tackle, and Paf de Klerk unable to adjust. He is moving his arms, but the medical staff are there.
Inside the first minute of the game. Good grief.
Oh my goodness, that is a horrible injury for Paf de Klerk. And
43 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, he looked like he was knocked out immediately.
Yeah.
So that's very concerning for South Africa. So we see some stats here: 101 matches between these two teams, and South Africa winning 37, the All Blacks 60. In South Africa, South Africa have a 25-24 lead, and the Boks only managing 10 wins in New Zealand so far in the history of the greatest rivalry in world rugby.
Absolutely. And so, the concern here for South Africa, Otto, will be with Cobus Reinach not anywhere near the Springbok side at the moment. there's going to be concerns because you think of Herschel Yankees and Kobus Ranach away in terms of the larger squad. And so there's a concern here for the Springboks because Faf de Klerk is certainly going to be the man who's off the park. And now there seems to be somebody in... Oh, sorry. They're showing highlights of Siya Kolisi's debut at Nelspruit. I don't know why we saw suddenly white. There wasn't like a replay thing or anything like that. It was just one of those where they were showing Siya Kolisi's debut against Scotland. I just saw somebody running in white. I was like, what's going on here?
Yeah. How's that work? So Faf de Klerk is on his back there. The last time we saw images of him. And they're preparing to take him off on the stretcher and the medical team, and that's just unlucky. Confirmation of the replacement, Jaden Hendrickse, number 22 jersey is on for number 9, Faf de Klerk for South Africa. Yeah, that was a bad one.
Cheslin Colby not anywhere near the side for the rest of the season, from what I understand, because of that broken jaw, and that's why we see Kurtley Arendse in the side with only one cap, but he's got big shoes to fill. So hopefully he'll be looking to put in a performance. I know he said in the week that he was looking forward to the opportunity to dominate at this level, or at least show his class and talent.
Yeah, wherever you are, Cheslin, get well soon. And Faf de Klerk also get well soon. The All Blacks are keeping their bodies warm. They're running around, doing some passing exercises there. There are a true accident there, so nobody's fault. Just one of those things that tend to happen in full contact sport.
Absolutely.
So we hope Faf de Klerk is okay.
Yeah. Funnily enough, Caleb Clark's last test was in November of 2020. So, for at least for the All Blacks, and I think that's such an important thing for players who maybe are around the fringes, for them to feel like I can make it back when you get dropped from a side, whether it be for injury or form. Certainly he's fought his way back there.
Indeed. So there's 43 seconds on the clock. The first injury of the match brings Jaden Hendrickse onto the park much earlier than he would have liked. He plays for the Cell C Sharks, and this is his 5th match for the Springboks. Wherever you are, thank you very much for listening. While we wait for Faf to be taken care of, we see some stats where the last 3 matches between these two teams, South Africa won in Queensland. Of course, last year in 2021, the Rugby Championship being played out in Australia after New Zealand freaked out with a COVID wave. And the New Zealand team looking to get back onto the W column. And they also just looking really focused. Saw Sam Cane there. He's come under heavy criticism as well.
Certainly.
I mean, that's a bit... I think New Zealand have... it bothered me the way that the New Zealanders jumped onto the backs of their coaching staff. We're perhaps a bit more used to losing than they are.
Sure.
Especially against the Northern Hemisphere teams when they come here. We do expect to win, but that was a brilliant Irish side that they played against. And I think I saw one of the articles pointing that out. One of the articles I read, I forget where, probably on the main broadcaster's website.
Who are also world number 1, by the way, Ireland. Now are world number 1. So it's no accident that they beat the All Blacks.
No, they have an awesome team. They played really good rugby. It wasn't like the All Blacks were really bad. I mean, they were a little bit undercooked. They didn't look like the All Black teams that we've seen in the past. Certainly not up to their best, but you have to give credit to Ireland as well. So the last 3 games at this Mbombela Stadium, South Africa winning all 3 of them against Argentina, Wales, and that same island.
Scotland.
Now there will be a scrum. And the scrum will be to the All Blacks because they had the ball when the referee stopped the match to allow Faf de Klerk to be taken care of. We saw New Zealand applauding Faf de Klerk as he was taken off the field. So 5 meters in from the near side, just inside the New Zealand half, Aaron Smith has the ball in his hand, and the first scrum of the match is on as they set. No, says the referee. Free kick to South Africa as he didn't like what New Zealand were doing there. Probably a
early engagement, I think, from Angus.
Early engager. Okay, so there we go. The first free kick for South Africa from the scrum, and they've called the Kiwis straight back to the scrum. The All Blacks running back to the mark, and the referee is explaining to Samisoni Taukeao that he needs to be steady before they engage. I think there was a problem before they actually engaged. You couldn't see Aaron Smith was in the way, but it looked like there was something that the referee didn't like. So now we'll be able to see as Jaden Hendrickse will put the ball in to the scrum, 5 meters in from the near side touchline, just inside the New Zealand half. New Zealand playing from right to left on our screens. Jaden Hendrickse in. Malcolm Marx gets the hook, and the Springboks trying to put some pressure on the All Black scrum, and they do that. They get the scrum penalty advantage. The ball pops out, and the referee has his arm in the air. Penalty to the Springboks. The first scrum, a free kick. The second one, a penalty. South Africa just muscling New Zealand there, driving them back, putting the pressure on, and Andre Pollard will go for the near side touchline. And the ball goes over the touchline. The flag goes up inside New Zealand's 22 on the near side.
Clinical scrummaging there from the Springboks. They've rolled them through 90 degrees, and that's why Trevor Nyakane has picked up the penalty there for the Springboks. What a masterclass of scrummaging. Wonderful to see. Inside the 22, Malcolm Marx with a throw.
Taukeao also popping up his head there. So good pressure there. Malcolm Marx with the ball just inside the New Zealand 22, and the Springboks set up the maul. They're about just inside the 15-meter mark on the near side of the field. They are inside New Zealand's 22. Malcolm Marx with the ball at the back. The maul is moving very slowly, but it is moving forward. No, says the referee. Jaden Hendrickse is in attendance there. Now the maul moves forward, and the Springboks getting the upper hand. Jaden Hendrickse sends it out to Damian Dalende in the middle of the field. Support there for him as the ball goes to Malcolm Marx. Now truly in under the posts of New Zealand are South Africa. Jasper Wiese takes it up. Jaden Hendrickse out to Siya Kolisi, who takes the ball up to the 15-meter mark on the far side. Getting close to the 5-meter line are South Africa. Jaden Hendrickse now brings it to the near side. Frans Malherbe goes in as first receiver. One pass ruck by South Africa. Jasper Wiese takes this next one up. Another one pass ruck play by South Africa. Players in motion around the ball, and now Damian Dalende has it out to Damian Willemse, out to Kurtley Arendse, who's brought down over the touchline on the near side, about 6 meters from the New Zealand try line. So searching for gaps that don't exist, but a good structured play there from South Africa.
Yeah, it's a difficult
New Zealand
one,
will
particularly when you've got Rico Ioane lurking like a panther there. Out on the near side touchline. Throw now for the All Blacks. 5 meters out.
4.5 minutes gone in the first half. The score is still 0 each, as New Zealand, with some interference from Etzebeth, gets this ball out to the back line. It was a very short line out from New Zealand. So Aaron Smith has control of the ball after some good counter-rucking by the Springboks. He sends it out to Bowden Barrett inside his in-goal area. The ball travels through the Nelspruit sky. And there's a quick throw-in from the Springboks on the near-side touchline on the 10-meter line. Kurtley Arendse gets the ball back after he passed it in-field to Damian Willemse. I think that was either Pollard. Now the Springboks move it through the back line. Siya Kolisi, Lucanio Am, Makazolo Mapimpi on the far side over the 22. He gets brought down about 10 meters out from the New Zealand try line. 10 meters, just about 10 meters from the New Zealand try line on the far side of the field. And that was some end-to-end play by the Springboks. Kurtley Arendse almost got through, and Makazole Mapimpi, a good tackle by Geordie Barrett, the number 15 for New Zealand, on the far side touchline, taking Makazole Mapimpi over the touchline. New Zealand will have a throw about 7 meters in from the far side touchline. And remember, Springboks playing left to right on our screens. And it is collected by New Zealand. Aaron Smith sends it into the forwards, who were once again standing outside of the line out. The ruck is formed inside New Zealand's 22, about 10 meters from their touchline. Aaron Smith sends it high up into the air, and underneath to catch it is Damian Willemse. He goose steps, he gets it out back infield to Makazole Mapimpi there on the far side, next to the far side touchline, and a good tackle there from Scott Barrett, the number 5 for New Zealand, just as Jaden Hendrickse got his hands on the ball. He got tackled by Scott Barrett, but I think Scott Barrett was part of that ruck. No, it was just a mistake by Jaden Hendrickse there. I don't think there was any interference by Scott Barrett. Let's see what the referee has to say. No,
I think
there was.
It slipped out of his hands there. Yeah, it slipped out of Hendrickse's hands, and then it's been knocked down. Nevertheless, referee now saying it's going to be a scrum penalty to the Springboks. Knock on by Scotty Barrett.
So the third scrum, it's 5 meters in from the far side touchline, just inside the 10-meter line of New Zealand. That wasn't great by Jaden Hendrickse. He got out of jail there. 7 minutes gone in the first half. Score is still 0 apiece. And I'm very anxious to see if our live score will update. So we haven't had a score yet. 3 minutes to go before I will give way to Mr. Ken Borland as the scrum is engaged now. Jaden Hendrickse puts the ball in. This time it's much better from New Zealand. Jasper Wiese picks it up at the back. Gets rid of the first tackler, Sam Kane. 15 meters in from the far side touchline. Etzebeth going over the 10-meter line of New Zealand on the far side of the field. Jaden Hendrickse sends it inside to Loot de Jager, who muscles himself over the 10-meter line, puts the ball back into the hands of Hendrickse, who sends it to Pollard, who sends it high up into the air. The ball is going to come down just outside the 22 of New Zealand. Lokanyo gets the deflection back to Kurtley Arendse, and Arendse is in for the first try for the Springboks on the near side of the field. That kick was collected by Arendse, knocked back. There was some pinball action going on there. 5-0 to the Springboks with 8 minutes gone, and Kurtley Arendse gets the try on the near side of the field, just about 3 or 4 meters in from the near side touchline. So the kick went up into the air, and take us through that, please, Coach.
Absolutely, it was just knocked back by Arendse to to Arendse, and first international career try for Kurtley Arendse. He will be elated with that. An easy score in the corner, not the easiest conversion, but nevertheless, Jaden Hendrickse knows how much it means to him and was all on top of him. Hendrickse and Arendse, two wonderful additions to the South African Springbok side, and it's one that he will never forget.
What a try. That was just a small mistake. New Zealand couldn't handle that cross kick pass by Handré Pollard. 9 minutes played, and Handré Pollard lines this up. He will be going with the right foot to try and add the extra 2. Watches the poles and strikes it now. The ball is going to go through the uprights.
Yes.
7 points to none. South Africa lead. And 30 seconds to go before I will hand over to Mr. Borland, who will be joining Coach David Midgley on One World Sports Radio. Thank you so much for listening. Do let us know what you think and where you're listening from. And while you two carry on, I will check that the score is actually updated. So Jasper Wiese takes the kickoff. He gets brought down just inside the Springbok 22, about 60 meters in from the near side touchline. Jaden Hendrickse with the ball at the back, onto the right foot. The ball goes high up into the air. It's going to come down just outside the 10-meter line of the Springboks. There was a New Zealand player jumping through the air, but there's an advantage for South Africa. Geordie Barrett there falling hard after he jumped through the air to try and catch that ball, and the referee says he's knocked it on. And then referee Angus Gardner gets a call from the near side touchline that there was a knock on by the Springboks as well. So,
yeah, the South Africans haven't always been a
as soon
fan
as
of
Mr.
Angus
Borland
Gardner.
is... Yeah, so
And
that
so-
was a contact in the air from Kurtley Arendse. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, so it like you said, it was contact from Kurtley Arendse, but referee Angus Gardner, who's not always been the most favorite, the most favorable referee when it comes to Springboks in the past, indicating that it was Geordie Barrett. You said that was the guilty party. Nevertheless, Springboks 10 meters inside of the nearest touchline in their own half will have the feed to their scrum. Hammered in the first one were the All Blacks, but fighting back with tenacity in the second. 11-11 quickly make a wish. Feed now by the Springboks. Struggling for some traction is Peter Steff on the near side, and the New Zealanders taking care of that as they get through 80 plus. But the Springboks have said they've got the penalty. Cross kick now, high in the air for Magazola Mapimpi, and it goes out. It's straight out. It'll be a Springbok penalty where the scrum happened. Again, it was a 90-degree wheel. I thought it was the New Zealanders who were on top of things, but a knee drop there meant that the Kiwis were the ones penalized. Again, it's Angus Ta'avao who is the guilty party. Illegal scrummaging from Angus Gardner, and now he has to deal with the consequences.
Penalty is just about 50 meters in from the near side touchline, inside the Springbok half.
Not kicked out, and now New Zealand on the counter-attack. That's a mistake by Andre Pollard. The return kick is not cleared either as Jaden Hendrickse does the work. Willemse into traffic he goes as he's brought down by Samisoni Takoeo. He's brought down on halfway. Hendrickse now looking for options. He's got some coverage there from Malcolm Marx. High in the air goes the box kick now. It's hanging. Can somebody get on the end of it? Kurtley Arendse tried to keep that in, but nevertheless it was brought down in the end by the New Zealanders. Nobody taking contact there. Sam Whitelock to Geordie Barrett rather, and then great tackle on Sam Kane by Siya Captain on captain violence here. Aaron Smith, back of the ruck. He goes to the near side, and the ball goes through the hands, taken by Bowden Barrett. He finds some space in between Springboks, but it is eventually brought down by Trevor Nyakane, near side of the park, just over the halfway line. Over his own 22. Geordie Barrett hammered by Peter Steff du Toit. It's knocked back, and it's a South African penalty, or it's an All Black penalty that was a knock-on by the Springboks. Ill discipline costing the men in green and gold there. Peter Steff seemingly the one who is not the one to be happy with himself.
Yeah, so the referee judging that Peter Steff du Toit, I think, bumped that ball in the tackle, bumped it forward. But wow, that is absolutely amazing defense by the Springboks. The New Zealanders just getting smothered behind the gain line, much like we saw in the last test match against Wales, where Wales just couldn't even get near the advantage line. And the same thing being experienced by Sam Kane's All Blacks.
Yeah, hard talking to there because I think they just know that this game so nearly could be one-sided if they allow themselves to be dominated with simple mistakes like this. Not necessarily in the scoreline, but possession and territory is a massive indicator at test match level how well you're doing as a side. They're going to have to reset here, as Angus Gardner says he's got something in his ear, possibly from TMO Brett Cronin, or the technical side of it. I think his mic's unplugged.
His mic's not working. Yeah, so 13 and a half minutes gone. South Africa lead New Zealand 7 points to 0. Beautiful. Yeah. Keep it that way, Booker.
Absolutely. Please join us in commentary as the third commentator by commenting on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter at One World SR. If you'd like to support us, please go to www.patreon.com/1 World SR. Right, scrum time. Just over the All Black 22 meters. Near side of the park, it'll be Aaron Smith to feed for the men from the land of the long white cloud. The origin story, or the origin place of the Lord of the Rings movies, but Tolkien actually born in Bloemfontein in South Africa. Feed now for the men in All Black. Aaron Smith through their hands to number 12, in David Havili, who punts this straight in between the middle of the Springboks. Wonderfully collected and returned there by Damien Willemse. Tried to collect his own kick and nearly gets the knock on there as this ball is kicked out on the full by Beauden Barrett over the touchline on the near side. Will we see a 50-22? I don't know. I'd love to see it though.
This line out is just inside the Springbok half. Malcolm Marx wiping down the ball. That part of South Africa is low-lying, about 150, 160 kilometers from the Indian Ocean, and so it's very humid all year round.
With the collection as we head to the 16th minute rather. De Jager with the collection. Maul not really going anywhere. It's just about 6 or 7 meters inside. Marx pops out the back. He immediately is brought down. It looks like a knock on there. Malcolm Marx in the tackle. He was brought down by Sam Cane after a missed tackle from a Samisone Takoeo. And goodness me, that's frustrating. In your 50th game, you want to do better. You want to do better.
Yeah, I just lost the ball in contact there with Sam Cane, did Malcolm Marx. Yeah, he was wiping down the ball, and obviously what also happens is that the sweat, the human sweat, never really goes away off that plastic ball. With the leather balls, it used to be even worse. So once the players start sweating in the humidity, the ball is a bar of soap. So the scrum is just inside the New Zealand half, and probably very close to the middle of the field. New Zealand fighting back in the scrums. They're looking better than they did in that first two, where they conceded a free kick and a penalty. Let's see what happens with this one. Aaron Smith has the ball.
Feed now to the All Blacks. It was a horrible feed, though, only getting as far as the blindside lock. Flanker rather, as this one eventually goes out after Jasper Wiese absolutely crunched Aaron Smith there after there was no ill will there, but goodness me, did he hit him late. I think he's got to be careful, does Jasper Wiese. There's looked like a bit of a dump tackle there from Kurtley Arendse on Beauden Barrett. Does it look like that to you, or am I just reading into things?
Yeah, I think Barrett may be just jumping into the tackle a little bit, but Kurtley Arendse is spinning him around as they went to ground, with Arendse.
De Jager didn't catch that, and that means New Zealand have the ball. The ball goes through the hands, middle of the park, brought down Wiese, brings down a number 12, David Havili. Hard work here for the New Zealanders to get anywhere near the advantage line. Aaron Smith now to Barrett. Barrett to Akira Ioane. Brought down far side of the park. They try and go inside and then towards the far side of the park, the blind side. Brought down is Sam Whitelock. Ball going through the hands now. Brought down just over the 10-meter line is Taoveo. And referee Angus Gardner blowing his whistle, not releasing. Malcolm Marx making recompense for his earlier knock on with a steal in that ruck.
Like a limpet on a rock, Malcolm Marx got into a very strong position. Peter Steph Toy and Damien Dalende making the tackle. And who was the New Zealand player there with possession? I cannot tell, but Malcolm Marx with his hands on the ball, and New Zealand conceding a penalty. Pollard kicks the ball out. The flag goes up just outside the New Zealand 22 on the near side of the field.
An absolute gem of a thing. We see Faf de Klerk is back on his head. Well, back on his feet, rather. Back and wondering whether or not he'll come back. So, I mean, he was wheeled off on one of those, golf cart type stretchers. But good to see he's getting some applause from the crowd. I don't know if he'll be back on. I don't think that is the case these days.
I don't think you can.
HIAs.
Yeah.
Good catch now by Etzebeth. South Africa switching from De Jager to Etzebeth. Don't want to lose a line out as the maul is now making its way towards that try line, wheeling and dealing. Two more join in. It's the prop forwards in Nyakane and Malherbe. Ball now with the middle of the park in the hands of Damien Delende. Hendrikse to Malcolm Marx with support by Eben Etzebeth. Hendrikse again to Pollard, who steps one tackle but is immediately brought down after that. He stumbled through that tackle, and that's why he didn't get away. Jasper Visa right into the face of Adi Sevilla. Grubber kick through for Mapimpi to chase, and that'll go out as Mapimpi tried to get on the end of it, but was shielded by Geordie Barrett as that popped out about 5 meters, or 6 meters rather, outside of the Kiwi try line.
So with that, I'm going to depart, and I will add Mr. Ken Borland to the mix here. The New Zealanders spending a lot of time inside their own half. We're coming up to the 20-minute mark, and New Zealand have the throw-in on the far side of the field, 6 meters from their own try line. Take it away.
Ken, it's all you.
Well, thrown in by New Zealand, and a good take at the front of the line-out. But New Zealand, the Springboks rather, have been penalised, or a free kick for closing the gap at the line-out. So Geordie Barrett is going to kick for touch. 7-0 to South Africa, and really the scoreboard not reflecting their dominance so far, as Barrett finds a good touch that's going to go out around about the halfway line. A quick throw by the Springboks because it was just a free kick. Up and under. Mapimpi under it. He's claimed it. Brilliant by the winger. Hendrikse skip pass to Eben Etzebeth. New Zealand hard over the ball, but they've fallen over it, and that's going to be a penalty to the Springboks as Agnes Gardner quite rightly penalises Adi Sevilla for going over the top.
Yeah, it was a great bit of work by Adi Sevilla, but he just didn't quite execute. I mean, it was the right idea. The timing was excellent, but as you said, now the South African's going to go for poles pretty much in front. Great catch by Mapimpi, though. Wow, Ken, blew me away.
The Springbok kicking game has really been on point today. Set up the try for Kurtley Arendse. That was Andre Pollard's kick, very well contested by Arendse. And then Lukhanyo just showing his class with running the perfect line to pick up the rebound, and just a wonderful offload in the tackle. Lukhanyo does it so often, doesn't he, David, that we kind of take it for granted.
Yes, magic. He's just magic with his hands. That's how he changes games. And I think, with his experience in the time that he's been in the South African side, not very long in terms of his career, but certainly something that he will be proud of as Pollard steps up.
So 22nd minute of this game, Andre Pollard from in front slots it to the middle for his 139th penalty for the Springboks. That takes him to 636 points in his 63rd test. South Africa lead 10-0 after 22 minutes.
It is a glorious night in Mbombela. What excellent weather that they've been blessed with, Ken. A little bit of a breeze certainly makes for good rugby, but I did see that they were struggling with traction in one of the scrums, so perhaps the ground a little bit harder than they would like.
Well, I think the All Blacks in particular have been struggling with traction in the scrums. They've been having a bit of a torrid time, as we're just having it looks like almost like a water break at the moment. But South Africa, the Springboks, just their set pieces have operated so well in this opening quarter. Dominance in the scrums, and their line-out work has been very slick so far as well, although I feel the All Blacks have defended the rolling maul quite well.
Absolutely. To come back to Lukhanyo, if I'm not mistaken, it was also against the All Blacks where we saw that famous behind-the-back pass from Lukhanyo. Just
correct, when Damien Dialendi scored.
Magic, Kenneth Borland. Magic.
Playing the All Blacks, I think playing the All Blacks seems to bring out the best in Lukhanyo. He probably grew up, watching the brilliant All Blacks backs of the past. I wonder if he's skillful they were, and he's of the same ilk, really, Lukhanyo. So he probably relishes the chance to play against New Zealand and show that he's got skills as well that would certainly not be out of place in an All Blacks jersey. Thank goodness he's in green and gold as Beauden Barrett restarts, goes deep. It's taken by Jasper Visa midway inside the Springbok 22. And he's brought down about 5 meters from the 22 line. Jaden Hendricks trying to dig the ball out with his boot. And he goes for the box kick. Seems to have got pretty good contact. It's coming down just outside the halfway line, taken by Geordie Barrett to his brother Bowden, who makes some yards, throws back infield. It goes to ground, but it's well gathered by Caleb Clark. All Blacks still in possession, just inside the Springboks half, as Aaron Smith waits 4 meters in from the touchline. And he'll go to the boot. Up it goes. It's going to come down just outside the Springbok 22. And a good take by Andre Pollard. Driven forward, and the ball comes back to Jaden Hendricks. Eben Smith on the charge. He's upended in the tackle, but prop George Bauer just immediately raising his arms to show that it wasn't his fault. We might go back and look at that as Jaden Hendricks box kicks again. Coming down just outside the Springbok 22. It's dropped by Barrett, and Sia Khaleesi is first to the ball, wins it back for the Springboks. Peter Steph-Toy to Jasper Visser, out to Pollard, to the line behind now, and Damian Dialendi has some space, throws a dummy. He's over the All Blacks 10-meter line and puts the grubber in. It'll go into touch just inside the New Zealand 22, and their line-out will have a pressure-packed throw in now.
I wonder, Ken, why not hang on to the ball? I wonder why he's not taken it into tackle there. Perhaps support, lack of it? Or is he just seeing an opportunity there?
I think they know how effective Mapimpi is running onto kicks, and they are favouring a territory game as well. You know, they've probably got a better lineup than the All Blacks, so they want to put them under pressure in their 22. And New Zealand have safely weathered that storm. A throw right to the back to Akira Ioane, and it's taken up outside the All Blacks 22, but back inside the 22, Geordie Barrett will kick long just outside the Springboks 22. As Damien Willemse goes to deep to the near side touchline. It's a great bounce, and Geordie Barrett Bowden Barrett had to tap that ball back infield just before it went out in touch, and he's now on a wonderful run. He's made it over the 22-meter line to his brother Geordie, who carries it over the 10-meter. And there's Akira Ioane, throws a rather speculative pass infield, which goes to ground, and I fancy it's probably bounced forward, and indeed referee Angus Gardner has blown his whistle.
Talking about the skill of Lukhanyo, my word, Bowden Barrett kept it in and then gained about 30-odd meters. Wow. Incredible stuff.
Fantastic run. He just burnt Damien Willemse and got past Lukhanyo as well. And incredible bravery as well to run from behind his own try line. Just a reminder of how dangerous the All Blacks can be on counter-attack.
Absolutely. You almost need to think of your inner Sean Connery, silky skills there.
Chewing on some blocks of ice while you talk, but it's going to be a scrum now to the Springboks just outside their 10-meter line. And referee Angus Gardner just having a word to the two
forwards, yeah. It's going to be interesting with the final 14 minutes of the half.
So it's about 8 meters in from touch, and just outside the Springboks 10-meter line, the scrum. So I imagine we'll probably see another box kick from Jaden Hendricks at the end of it all, as down they go. And down the scrum goes, and it's a penalty to South Africa. That's their third penalty at scrum time. I think the third penalty they've won out of probably 5 scrums, David.
Yeah, it's a problem. We spoke about the traction and the South Africans deciding that they will kick for the corner here. But goodness me, aren't the Boks making the most of something in their favor?
Yeah, good to see Pollard find touch this time. His last penalty, he didn't find touch, which was a pity. And 28th minute of the first half now. Springboks lead 10-0. They really need to make this dominance count, I feel, David. And they have a lineup now inside the All Blacks 22. Now is the time. They really need to score again before halftime.
Certainly a converted try will help them feel a little bit of breathing room between them and the All Blacks going into the orange slices break.
That's Malcolm Marx with the ball. Throws it to the middle. Even Etzebeth soaring high to take it. Springboks set the maul, going sideways at first. The All Blacks have really defended the rolling maul well today. Malcolm Marx breaks loose, charges forward. He's brought down by Sam Cane, but he's made grounds. Hendrickse to Pollard, also makes a metre or two. Hendrickse again, Lutiaga, short ball. Doesn't quite make as much momentum as he'd like, but he's done well. The ball recycled quickly. Hendrickse again to Marx. He's had a few storming runs. He breaks the game line. Hendrickse, Sia Khaleesi, a little sidestep there. It gets him over the game line. And the ball is snatched out of scrum off Hendrickse's hand. Another yard made by the forwards. Hendrickse has got it again. And just complaining to the referee that the All Blacks are slowing down the ball. Jasper Wiese now. Crashing forward. All Blacks defending very stoutly. They're about 7 meters from the try line as Lutiaga rolls. And the ball is back again. Wiese. Little step inside. Oh, Ardie Savier's got his hands on the ball. And that's a penalty to the All Blacks. Great work by the New Zealand 8th man.
Top notch indeed from him. It's going to be a frustrating moment for the Springboks. They had the momentum. They were like siegemen at the door to a medieval castle. They couldn't quite get in, and suddenly in the thick of night, they've been robbed.
And Beauden Barrett is cleared just inside his own 10-meter line. And we've seen this movie before against the All Blacks, David, where the Springboks have had really dominant periods of play, but just haven't had the ruthless finishing that you need to really put away a team like the All Blacks, who have thrown deep right to the back of the line out to Akira Ioane. Beauden Barrett sidesteps and makes his way to just outside the 10-meter line. It's a bit scrappy at the back of the All Blacks ruck, and Sia Khaleesi has picked up the All Blacks. Oh, well, that's a pity because they were clearly offsides, but before that could be blown, a couple of the Springboks came diving into the ruck and went off their feet. So it's a penalty to the All Blacks.
Yes, but Wiese, this is not the Commonwealth Games. You can't be diving like that. If you want to go swim, there's a pool somewhere else.
Or English Premier League.
Yes. You know, this is the wrong sport. Straight up there.
Yeah, insert the name of your least favourite English Premier League team as All Blacks with the line out just outside the Springbok 10-meter line. It's gone to the back line. Barrett and crashing it up is Rieko Ioane. They're inside the 10-meter line now, and the ball goes back again to Beauden Barrett. Peter Steff du Toit with a really dominant tackle, driving him back. Jordie Barrett now, trying to find a way through the solid Springbok defence. Back to Aaron Smith, who goes to Scott Barrett, who really provides some acceleration there. Good run by the lock. And now to the other lock, Sam Whitelock. But still the All Blacks are just over the 10-meter line, not making too much headway. There goes the hooker, Takuao Smith to Akira Ioane. Sia Khaleesi's over the ball looking for the jackal, but he won't get it. Smith again to Barrett. Good defence by the Springboks, and now Smith goes left again to Akira Ioane. Left again. And the All Blacks have lost control of the ball, but it hasn't gone forward, or has it? Yes, referee Angus Gardner rules that it went slightly forward. So the pressure of the Springbok defence telling there.
Absolutely, and the pace of the game there, Ken, getting ahead of the All Blacks. They had the foot firmly on the gas there, and then just slipped off. And when they tried to retain that position, that's when the things went wrong. 8 minutes left in this half. 10-0 to the Springboks at Mbombela in Nelspruit. Don't forget that you can always tweet us at OneWorldSR. Chat to us on Facebook, on Instagram, and on YouTube as well. This is a game that I think will determine the fate of Rugby Championship. I suspect, Ken, that because of the quality of these two sides. Australia not as competitive as they have been in recent times. That being said, with them on in the rugby rankings, they're sixth. So with England in between the three Sanzar nations that are generally competing, I wonder if we will actually see a good game from the Australians, or will it be another blowout?
Well, we always say that about the Wallabies, and I think they always play better than we expect them to in the Rugby Championship. Let's not forget they beat the Springboks twice last year, which extinguished the Springboks challenge for the Rugby Championship title. The All Blacks, of course, are the defending champions in the Southern Hemisphere competition, but still lots to do for the Springboks in this game. They need to cross two substantial hurdles over the next 2 weeks in the form of the All Blacks at the Mbombela Stadium in Nelspruit this evening, and then next weekend at Ellis Park. What a humdinger of a match that's going to be. There have been some great test matches between the Springboks and the All Blacks in Johannesburg. So there have been some injury delays and several water carriers on the field, but it looks like we might be about to have the scrum just inside the Springbok 10-metre line, and about 11 meters in from touch. Gardner's got the two packs together. So Springboks would be very happy to get another scrum penalty out of this. It would be their fourth. And they're going to have to reset. Springboks not happy with the alignment of the scrum there. All Blacks, of course, came into this game having changed their tight head prop and their hooker. Angus Ta'ava coming back, and Samisoni Tokahao starting ahead of Dane Coles, the more experienced hooker who's on the bench. So Jaden Hendrickson preparing to feed. Down they go. In comes the ball. Bit of a shove on by the All Blacks, but the Springboks are holding it very solidly. Hendricks a flat ball to Dialende, who goes through one tackle over the 10-metre line, and Dialende came up too quickly. He's been penalised. He's been called off sides. He did seem to be very flat very quickly there.
Not so sure why the referee is blowing is, I think, his response. We're certain the referee said offside, like you called correctly, Ken, but I think Dialende not so sure why the margin for failure was as razor thin as it was. Nevertheless, Geordie will have a go at the poles just in between the 10 meters and the 22, just to the left of the uprights. Remember that the Boks are playing left to right with the All Blacks right to left. And you see, the problem is when the ref turns his back and then suddenly has to swivel around and you're quicker than he can gauge, that's when there's the challenge to say, I was actually quite speedy there, ref. Please, I mean, at least give me the benefit of the doubt.
I dare say the assistant referee might have spotted Dialende coming up too quickly. He did seem to be very flat very quickly, I must say.
Barrett now with the kick. Through the poles, it's 10-3 to the All Blacks. 36th minute, or 35 and a half minutes gone in this first encounter of Rugby Championship. All Blacks on the board, and Ken called it. If they get going to the All Blacks, this could be a difficult one for the men in green and gold. Halftime, Date Night Drip podcast is what we'll be playing for you as the ball is launched high into the air. Now the Springboks have the last 5 minutes to try and push. The All Blacks with the penalty advantage. Sam Cane through to Jordan Barrett. Bad bit of hands there from Bowden Barrett and David Havili. And in the end, Rico Ioane is the one who's going to collect. It was a knock-on by the Springboks. It was a great jump there by Scott Barrett, but the man who was told he was in the wrong was Kurtley Arendse, which is surprising because I don't think it looked like he knocked it on. I think he hit it onto an All Black hand and then suddenly it went forward. So I'm not quite sure how that can be given as a knock-on. Nevertheless, scrum down for the All Blacks.
Well, he might have knocked it forward into the All Blacks' hand. Just the All Blacks backline, not as slick a unit as we used to. There have been a few passes going behind people, a few passes going to ground today.
The cohesion is crucial, and I think your synchronicity within your backline and your ability to plan is a crucial element. As Angus Gardner thought about blowing the whistle there was a knee dropped on the far side of the feed. Guilty man himself, Trevor Nyakane. Visa pops out with the ball, but it was Trevor Nyakane whose knee dropped, and that meant there was an immediate penalty before the ball had even been fed. South Africa nigh the end of this half, letting the game slightly shift in momentum.
The All Blacks certainly had the better of that scrum. Yeah, a bit of change of fortunes there. The All Blacks getting the shove on the Springboks there. I fancy Nyakane probably never really got a good blinded or a good set. As you say, his knee going down early, and from there he was always on the back foot.
Right, throw now, near side of the park, between 10 and 22 of the South African half of the field. Great bit of work there. Through the tackle goes David Havili. He manages to get through 1 and 2, and then is finally brought down over a sponsor's logo. Takaweo is on the ball now. Then through to Smith, who gives it off to Ari Sevilla. Referee keeping an eye on things. Near side of the park where Bauer gets the ball. He looks to dummy throw and does. Aaron Smith again to Bowden Barrett, who breaks one tackle, cuts back inside. A lot of hard work here for the All Blacks to try and retain position and look for a score. Caleb Clark cuts back inside off his left wing. Aaron Smith looking for the pass on the left-hand side and ricocheting off Trevor Nyakane and picked up by Takaweo. That looked very disorganized from the All Blacks, and the whistle is blown. It's not released by the All Blacks, and Malcolm Marx, once again, a pain in anybody's side when it comes to ruck time. Great bit of work from the man, earning his 50th cap today.
Yeah, another pass going to no one by the All Blacks. There just seems to be a lack of communication at times. Aaron Smith just suddenly deciding to switch play to the left. A little pop pass which really went to no one, and hitting Trevor Nyakane, who was still lying on the ground, having a bit of a break. But Malcolm Marx, he's certainly celebrating his 50th cap with a storming performance today.
Specifically, the man you spoke about, Trevor Nyakane, making his way for the last 30 seconds of the first half for Steven Kitsoff. You've got to ask the question, Ken, really? 30 seconds left of the half, and you bring on what are they expecting? I'm not sure. This one's kicked over halfway around the 10-meter line of the All Blacks half, near side of the park. What?
Unless Trevor's got a bit of a niggle. Maybe that's why he was lying on the ground. He might have a bit of a niggle.
30 seconds. I suppose the hooter has gone.
Well, if you can't, yeah. So, I mean, a lot of rugby can still be played after the hooter, after the halftime hooter, yeah, as we know.
Right, good take there by Peter Steff towards the rear of that that line out. The maul going now, but it's falling away. Marks with a good throw to Pollard, who just pumps it out into touch. So, half-time at Mbombela. It's 10 points to 3. The Springboks lead the All Blacks. This game is by no means done. And so, join us again after the half-time. In the break, Date Night Drip podcast will be playing for you. Don't go anywhere. My name is Coach David Midgley, and alongside me for this half has been Otto Simon and Ken Borland. They will be taking you into the first quarter of the next half. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, and welcome to a new episode of The Cheap Seats. The season is drawing near. We've got 2 weeks to go. Next week, we've got a preview show. But before the preview show, we gather everybody. We've got Tyler, we've got Yusuf here to discuss the kits your teams are going to be wearing as the season starts. We call the show the Date Night Drip Show. So welcome everybody. And yeah, let's have a good time. We're going to go through a lot of the kits, but most importantly, remember this show is partnered with a Classic Shirts ZA. Please do go to their Instagram page, Classic Shirts ZA, or their website for Classic Shirts ZA, .co.za. All the kits we have are showcasing today will be on their website. You can get it from them. Really awesome delivery service. And we've got Yusuf, who is from Classic Shirts today, to kind of give us a flavor of whenever he sees kits come out, what does he think? And also, if you can wear it on date night, you can see he's wearing a kit we're going to be showcasing later on. And my date night is happening later on tonight. I'm wearing the Bafana kit with Banyana African champions. So well done to them. Outside of that, let's get going. But let's start with Tyler. Tyler, it's been a while. How are you doing?
Good. I'm happy to be at the Cheap Seats Fashion podcast for another year running. I think this is the best tradition on your podcast at the moment.
Yes, it is.
That doesn't say much for our views, though, Tyler.
I think you should pivot into fashion.
You guys are better
So when the third kids come out,
looks good.
That would pretty much be what Arsenal and United have done, pivoting into fashion.
I mean, we're going to talk about that. But Yusuf, tell us a little bit more about Classic Shirts today and how you're doing.
Yeah, no, we reached 2,000 orders today, so it's a milestone for us in less than a year. So,
Guys, I'm only responsible for like half of that.
Yours doesn't even count because yours doesn't go through the system. So actually, it's like 2,500. Let's be honest. But yeah, 200,000 on the website. So a big day for us. And as you can see, the United shirt. It's just a teaser. This is my favorite one for the season.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
We'll get there.
We'll get there. Yes, but obviously... Yes, Yusuf?
No, I was just going to say, nice shirt, Dean. Nice shirt, Nicole.
No, thanks,
we have to get you yours soon.
So, remember, with Classic Shirts, you can go to their website. This is the discount code CHEAPSEATS99. You can get any of the shirts that are on there and put this discount code in. It just lets Yusuf know that we sent you. So we've probably been, of those 2,500, we've been responsible for 1.5. So just keep on on putting it through. But gents, it's an important start to the season. You got to look good. You know, as Tyler was saying, teams are pivoting to fashion clubs. Teams are not pivoting. And so we're going to rate all the teams as to whether you can wear their kits out on a date. It is South Africa. You wear sports kits on dates. So that's going to be the rating scale, 1 to 10, or 0 to 10, depending on how you feel. We're going to go down the order, and we've got some notables and things to discuss. But let's start with the champions, Manchester City. They're looking to still keep on being champions. They are effectively deciding that, nope, the fashion kit era is not for them. With a really interesting blue Puma kit that's got nothing on it. But they've gone for a red away kit to kind of tease Wahid on this. I'm going to start with Wahid. What do you make of this red kit? And what numbers do you give Manchester City?
Just confirming that Manchester is red.
Oh, don't try and make this a Man United thing.
Okay.
But I don't love the City kits. To be perfectly honest, I think that blue one's a bit weird. I don't think they've they've hit the mark there. The red one's a bit better, red and black, but I don't love them. I'm going to give that City home one like a 4 and the away one like a 4.5. I don't love these kids.
Tala, what do you make of the City kit? So they're going to remain being champions this season?
You know, Man City's actually had a very good run with their kits the past few years. They've had like really nice sort of like alternative type of kits. The home one, I don't know if you guys remember the third kit that they had, that Puma that just had Manchester City on the middle of their chest. And that home one reminds me a lot of that. It's so plain. Like, the collars are interesting, but because it's just so plain and just, you just have this big Etihad logo on it, it just looks really, really bad. So I'll give that just above a passing mark because of the collars. So that's 5.5. I actually sneakily like this away one. I don't know if it's date night worthy though. I think it's what you put in the reserve on your bench for like a date out in like the Walter Sisulu Botanical Gardens or something like that, like a fourth date type of vibe. I think it's a strong 6 out of 10.
Okay, you have to get through the first 3 dates, then find out she likes you. Then so when you pull it out, she's like, "Oh,
that is a half price. That is a half price Spur Monday night."
Yusuf, what do you make of these kids? What rating do you give them?
Can you let Dean go first? I'm going to get it in my hand and then I'm going to explain my rating. 1 second.
Okay. Dean, what's your rating of these kids?
For me, like the City home one, I do quite enjoy the badge in the middle vibe that they've gone for. But the maroon trim is the thing that throws me. Like, even on the players, it even makes Haaland look less scary with that combination on it. So like, I don't rate that home one as high at all. I think it would have looked better if they just stuck like white on the side, which would have been even more plain. So wouldn't have been a spectacle. But yeah, as is probably like 3-4 out of 10. And then I'm with Tala, like the red and black does have a little bit of like a Tiger Woods vibe. You can wear it on a Sunday, get those golf vibes going, but the yellow as well, it's not great. So I mean, City are going to be up there with the football that they play. They're just not going to be up there with the kits that they wear. So
okay, so I'm giving the red one a 6.5, and the blue one a 5.5 as Tala would. But Yusuf, what do you say? What's your rating there?
Okay, so the gents don't like the blue one, but I really like it. When you hold it in your hand, that way.
Okay.
The material feels really, really cool. So this is the player version. So what Puma call the ultra weave material. It's got like a nice diamond print on it. The badges, they feel really, really good. It's like a rubbery feel. It feels like it's worth the money.
How does it feel like that City badge compared to
feels
the
like a champion
badge?
I don't know about the collars. They feel a bit cheap, but they're stretchy. So I guess if your head is big and it goes through nicely. What I really like about this season's Puma shirts is this
the logo.
Their logo.
Okay.
So it's like, you can see it like changes colors and that in the light, and it looks really cool and makes it.
But the question is, Yusuf, will you wear it on a date if you went to match?
Yeah, this is what I'm coming to. That necks and tires on the top. It's a no from me. So yeah, if it didn't have that, I think I would have given it higher. But I'm gonna go with a 5. And then the red and black one. I don't like the launch video. I don't know if you guys saw it, where they did the whole AC Milan, the Milan versus Manchester thing. I thought it was terrible. They've won no European championships. They can't compete.
What's
with
your number?
Milan. But So
What's the
I'm
number?
gonna go, and I don't like the diagonal stripes. I just don't like where it's going. So I'm gonna give
Okay.
it 4. So a 5 for the home and a 4 for the away.
Okay, that means they're going to stay being champions. And somehow I've lost the Liverpool kit. That's wild. But anyway, we're gonna carry on.
Raheem deleted the Liverpool kit from the game.
He did it. I was being facetious. But anyway, the second team this season is Liverpool. They've gone with a very, very plain kit. I think they've taken a leaf out of City's book. But then that away kit looks really, really weird. Tala, I feel like I'm going to pass out looking at that away kit.
You know what? I'm actually quickly trying to Google to see how it looks on someone before I pass like full judgment on it.
It looks like a
Unfortunately-
dyslexic child colored on a
Check classic
Spurs.
shirts on Instagram, man. Got it
Yes.
on there. Yeah.
Here we go. You can add classic shirts for that. Look, I'm actually looking at one of their promo shoots. No man, it doesn't look real. I don't know. It almost looks like even in the promos that they like photoshopped it onto the players. You know what? It is a bit alternative. You know, if you're going to like the like a aquarium type of vibe, or the planetarium in Cape Town. Like it's something for that sort of like vibe. Not quite sort of Salzburg and Cape Town. No, I'm moving the dates around. Some Joburg, some Cape Town. So yeah, I think they missed. I'll give them a 3 out of 10 for the away. The home is not too much better. Like Liverpool Liverpool last year had a good slate of kits. This year, not so much. 4 out of 10. So I guess that's good news for their football fans in terms of they're going to watch good football.
Yeah, they're going to watch some good football. Dean, what did you make of those kits?
I mean, that away kit looks like they tried to copy the Spurs out of this world away kit that we had last season, trying to be a little bit out there with that wavy pattern. But it looks like
It's better than the Spurs one.
It's not better than the Spurs kit.
Now,
it looks like a piece of tinfoil that got caught in the sunlight, that away kit, if you look at it. So, like, it's not fantastic. So, yeah, avoid all metallic-based dates, I guess, in that one. But the home kit, it's just plain. I mean, it's like every other red kit.
And we are back. The players are running out on the field. And I'm going to joined by Mr. Tim Borland.
Well, Lotto, the Springboks gave the All Blacks a torrid time in the first 30 minutes of that first half, but I hope they don't live to regret that they only scored 10 points. The All Blacks just showing a few signs of revival in the last 10 minutes, and Beauden Barrett just showing how dangerous he is on the counter-attack.
Yes, and they had to do something. The All Blacks were dominated in terms of territory for the first 35, 32 minutes or so of that game, or of this game so far. So let's see what the Booker can do. I'll take the play-by-play for the first 10 minutes as Pollard kicks off, playing right to left now. The Springboks deep into the All Blacks 22. Ruck formed on the far side of the field. And it is Aaron Smith into Sam Whitelock, just on the advantage line. Ruck formed. Smith to Geordie Barrett, who kicks this one off the left foot high into the air, and it will go over the touchline on the far side of the field, where the Springboks will have the put into the line out about 8 meters inside the New Zealand 10-meter line. One visit to the 22 and 3 points for the All Blacks.
Yeah, and that courtesy of a penalty by Geordie Barrett in the 35th minute. Before that, in case you missed it, South Africa lost Faf de Klerk in the first minute of the game. He went off concussed when he came rushing up in a flying tackle, and his knee went into Caleb Clark's, his head went into Caleb Clark's knee, rather. But then there was a try by Kurtley Arendse and a conversion and a penalty by Pollard.
Good line-out take by Etzebeth. Kurtley Arendse being brought into the action. The Springboks back onto the 10-meter line of the All Blacks. Now they lose possession as the All Blacks take it up through Adi Savia. And Aaron Smith quickly out to Akira Ioane. He's brought down just outside the 10-meter line. Good recycling of the ball by the All Blacks to the near side, where the number 14 will kick it out to the near side for the All Blacks. And that is, of course, Will Jordan. So, bit of helter-skelter rugby. And the number 2 there for the All Blacks, Samasino Taukeau, managing to wrestle the ball away from Loet de Jager. Mistake there by Will Jordan. And the Springboks will have the put into the line out on the near side of the field, just outside the 10-meter line of the All Blacks. It's
the pressure the Springbok defence is putting on the All Black backline is really hassling them and forcing them into mistakes.
More formed now, and the Springboks get over the 10-meter line of New Zealand, and they seem to have some good forward momentum. Malcolm Marx in control at the back. Jaden Hendrikse in attendance there, but the Springboks stopped now, and Damien Dalende takes it into Bowden Barrett, who tackles Dalende inside the 10-meter line. Peter Steph Toy getting tackled back, still inside the 10-meter line of the Springboks in the middle of the park. Kitsoff on for Nyakane, takes it up a little bit closer to the advantage line. The New Zealand defense has also been good. Jaden Hendrikse with a box kick inside the 10-meter line of the All Blacks. The ball is going to come down about 20 meters from the far side touchline inside the 22 of the All Blacks, gathered by Malcolm Marx. He gets forward momentum. The ball now over the 22-meter line on the near side goes Eben Etzebeth, and it seems to have been stolen by the All Blacks. Aaron Smith to the near side. Bowden Barrett goes to the middle of the park to his brother Geordie Barrett. Off the right foot, sends the ball high into the air. Ball bounces inside the 10-meter line of the Springboks on the near side of the park, and it's a up and under by Pollard, collected by New Zealand inside their 10-meter line. They go to the middle of the park through Sam Kane, who's brought down inside the 10-meter line of the New Zealanders in the middle of the park. Now out to the number 3, Angus Tauvau, and the Springboks have won it back. Exchange of possession here from both teams. Sia Kulisi on the near side gets back over the 10-meter line. Jaden Hendrikse sends it to Kitsoff, sends it to Pollard, sends it out to Damian Willemse, who sends a grubber kick down to the far side of the park, and the ball crosses the touchline on the far side of the field, just inside New Zealand's 10-meter line. A clear tactic here from the Springboks. Just keep the New Zealanders, keep the All Blacks down inside their own 22, inside their own 10-meter line. That's where New Zealand have been forced to play most of their rugby. And that's good tactics.
Fantastic turnover. Fantastic turnover by Stephen Kitsoff to regain possession there. And
So,
the initial up and under
Samasoni
by...
into Whitelock for the All Blacks. Passed back to Bowden Barrett, who kicks this one inside the 15-meter line on the halfway line, and passed from Damien Willemse to Kurtley Arendse. The ruck is formed out to Loet de Jager on the 10-meter line of the New Zealanders now in the middle of the park. Andre Pollard with the cross kick to the near side, looking for Makazola Mapimpi. Finds Makazola Mapimpi, but Makazola Mapimpi is then just helped over the near side touchline, just outside the 22 of the All Blacks. And it will be a line out to the visitors. That's good collect there as Geordie Barrett contested for that ball on the near side of the field. 45 minutes gone. South Africa 10, New Zealand 3.
Springboks certainly causing problems for the All Blacks with their kicking game. The previous ball went to ground because Geordie Barrett, running up to collect it, was taken out by one of his own players, and that one landing in the hands of Mapimpi, but just a little bit too close to the touchline, as it looks like Eben Etzebeth is struggling with an injury at the moment. Franco Mostert, no, it's not Etzebeth who's injured, but Franco Mostert is coming on, possibly for Lourt Thiago.
That's correct. Etzebeth is on the field along with Franco Mostert, so a lock replacement this time for Franco Mostert, who goes up to contest, but New Zealand retain possession. It's a break through the line by the right wing for New Zealand. They're up to the halfway line of the pitch. Geordie Barrett out wide to the far side. Behind the halfway line now goes Caleb Clark on the left-hand side, and he's muscled over the far side touchline by Lucanio Arm. Great defense there by the Springboks. The New Zealanders giving the ball some air, sending it out wide, but Lucanio Arm and Kurtley Arendse there on the far side of the pitch taking care of that move. So it will be a throw into the Springboks just inside their own half on the far side.
Jasper Wiese just a bit slow in getting across after the line out there, which allowed the inside ball from the All Blacks to break through. But Kurtley Arendse did a great job holding up Caleb Clark, who's probably just about twice his weight, just holding him up until Lucanio Arm arrived to bundle him into touch.
Marks into Mostert just inside the Springbok half. The maul is set, a bit static. Now the Springboks go forward. They go over the halfway line, and it's the same maul, says the referee. And they're over the 10-meter line. Kurtley Arendse inside the 10-meter line of New Zealand as Jordan Barrett tries the intercept, knocks it forward, picked up by Damian Willemse. He's on his own now as New Zealand managed to clear that ruck. And that is the knock-on advantage to the Springboks. Damian Willemse and Sam Whitelock getting into a shoving match there. There's only one way that's going to end, but Sam Whitelock steps away, lifts his hands in the air in saying, I've got nothing to do with this. Now,
it's going to end in a stern talking to Damian Willemse.
Talking to, with Siya Kolisi tapping him on the bum, giving him some support.
Well, Willemse, that is, not the referee.
Kolisi is, yes, and now Kolisi is talking to the referee. The referee doesn't want to see any afters, and nobody needs to step in when there's a referee on the field, but in a full contact sport, that's often how it plays out. So it will be a scrum on the New Zealand 10-meter line. Springboks playing right to left, remember, on our screens. And it will be...
Quokka Smith on the field as well.
Yes. Lomax has replaced Tavau for the New Zealanders. No, he's replaced the lock, which would be...
no, it is the prop. Terrell Lomax is the...
yes.
He's a prop. Yeah.
Yes, of course. If you don't mind taking us through play-by-play, my feed is just frozen.
Well, the Springboks are on the attack on the right-hand touchline, and the referee has called them back for a penalty advantage. Promising little move there between Pollard and Kurtley Arendse, as the All Blacks are penalised for bringing the scrum down. I'll make that probably the fourth penalty they've conceded at the scrum.
It's been good for South Africa so far. We see yep.
Not a good start for Terrell Lomax, penalised in his first scrum. The replacement tight head. So Pollard, this penalty 49. Is just outside the All Blacks 10-meter line, and pretty much straight in front there.
Indeed. So the next 10 minutes, Ken Borland will give you the play-by-play, and Pollard will line up this kick to take the Springboks further into the lead. 10-3 to the Springboks so far. As Pollard steps forward and trails this one through the middle. 13-3 to the Springboks. Take it away, Mr. Borland.
Yeah, good for the Springboks to get some points relatively early in the second half, because they probably would have felt 10 wasn't enough for their dominance in the first half. So 13-3, they're leading by 10 in the 51st minute. Andre Pollard with his second penalty to go with a conversion of Kurtley Arons' try. As Bowden Barrett kicks to the far side, the restart. It's a good hanging ball, and it's brilliantly taken by Caleb Clark in the air, but he might have fallen the Springboks' way as they pile into the ruck. Yes, Quagga Smith has it. He fights his way forward through a host of All Blacks, and Jaden Hendrickson launches the up and under into the New Zealand half inside their 10-metre line. Well taken by Geordie Barrett, who evades two tacklers and gets the ball back for Aaron Smith, who will look left and find Sam Kane, who throws a dummy and then runs into a bit of a brick wall in the form of Peter Steph Totoy and Sia Khaleesi. It's back now to Bowden Barrett, who will kick almost straight down the middle into the Springbok 22, but it was an advantage because the Springboks are offside at the ruck.
It has been a continuation of that last test against Wales, as we see Geordie Barrett with an injury to his left foot. He's receiving some attention, and Wales couldn't get anywhere near the advantage line, and New Zealand, they've done a little bit better than Wales did a few weeks ago, but 52 minutes gone, 13 points to 3. They trail South Africa, the All Blacks, and it's been a very, very good defensive attack, I would say, by the Springboks so far in this match.
Yeah, they've certainly been squeezing the All Blacks, starting in the set pieces, and just the physicality, as you say, on the game line. The All Blacks almost being forced to try and go around them and trying to take them on out wide. But I think the All Blacks' most dangerous threat at the moment is in broken play. That's going to be their go-to, as it so often is. One feels, but the Springboks also have been very good at the breakdown and have won a few turnovers through Malcolm Marx. He's won 3. There was one not so long ago by Stephen Kickoff, also at a critical time. So Vincent Koch is on the field now as well for South Africa. So both props have been changed. Trevor Nkani, interestingly, was replaced after 39 minutes. Stephen Kickoff coming on with less than a minute to go in the first half. And Vincent Koch now on in the 53rd minute as Richie Mounga is on as well for the injured Geordie Barrett. And
so
he kicks.
Geordie Barrett.
He has set up a line out inside the Springboks 22.
Even more interesting replacement here, because now Bowden Barrett will move to fullback as Richie Mo'unga takes the number 10 spot.
The All Blacks have won the line out, and Ardie Savier's got the ball on the 22-metre line, trying to make his way through the Springbok defence, but Malcolm Marx has ripped the ball off him. Wonderful work by the hooker in his 50th game, and the frustrated All Blacks then give away the penalty coming in on the side of the ruck. So Malcolm Marx, he's having a phenomenal 50th test here.
Indeed, and making some telling turnovers. Just as New Zealand try and get some momentum, the Springboks managing to just snuff out the flame of hope. As we see Malcolm Marx coming up with the ball and then going down to the ground, and I think he knocked his head against the ball as he went down, so he is going to go off the field. And I was just thinking, when is Bongi and Mbonambi going to get a chance? Because Malcolm Marx is playing the match of his life. Now Mbonambi is on the field. He has replaced Malcolm Marx. The bomb squad coming in drips and drabs, but they are on the field. So let's see. 55 minutes, 13 points to South Africa, 3 points to New Zealand. The line-out is right on the halfway line on the far side of the field, and Mbonambi will be feeding it. Springboks dictating things so far.
It's been an encouraging start to the second half for South Africa. Mbonambi goes to the middle. Franco Mostert has been beaten to the ball, though. Stolen by the All Blacks. They go wide as Rico Ani puts it to the boot to the left side touchline. It's into the 22 and rolls out sideways. A very good kick by Iani, and it'll be a line out about 8 meters from the Springboks try line. So they'll be under pressure now.
Yes, that's a bit out of position was Makazolo Mapimpi, and South Africa will have a defensive line out about 7 meters out from their own try line on the near side of the field.
Which is never much fun when your hooker has just come on and his first throw has been snaffled by the opposition. So anxious times here for the Springboks as Dane Coles has come on for the All Blacks, replacing Samisoni Tokoao at hooker. Mbonambi feeds, and this time it's safe as houses to Ibn Etzebeth. Hendrickse waits to clear, and he passes to the pod, which is Jasper Wiese. Barrels forward, and the All Blacks have come up too quickly from that line-out and have given away the penalty.
Lucky escape there for South Africa. Half a chance there for the All Blacks to maybe get some more points on the board as they visit the 22. But Handré Pollard sends this a penalty kick sailing through the air in Mpumalanga, close to the Kruger National Park. If you're listening to us from other parts of the world, if you visit South Africa, make this one of your destinations of choice. South Africans will have a line-out throw inside the All Blacks half on the near side of the field.
And there's been a fantastic atmosphere at this packed out in Mbombela Stadium, as well as Mbonambi finds Etzebeth just inside the All Blacks half. And the Maul can't get going again. The All Blacks have defended the Maul pretty well tonight. So Hendrickse will dig the ball out with his boot, and he will put it to the boot. Up it goes. It's got a lot of height on it and not bad distance, but Pimpy has almost gathered it. He's done enough, I think, to win it back to South Africa's side. Hendrickse to Vincent Koch, barreling forward. Back to Hendrickse to Pollard, who launches another up and under into the right-hand corner, just outside the 22, packed back South Africa's side, but Rico Ani comes away. He throws a pass infield, which is gathered by Kitsoff. He's over the 22. Damien Dialende steps to a tackle. Hendrickse at the base. It's slow ball though. Vincent Koch again puts his head down. He's over the 22. Hendrickse going left to Kitsoff. He makes a couple of meters. Hendrickse again finds Quacker Smith, who's met by a very hard tackle by Scott Barrett. And long ball back to Pollard, who go for the drop goal. He's made good contact. The crowd is celebrating. The referee blows his whistle and puts his arm up. 3 more points for the Springboks.
What a beautiful play there by the Springboks. Piling on the pressure, getting the points. 3 more points and a beautiful drop goal. It didn't look beautiful as it sailed through the air, but it did what it was supposed to do as we get ready for the kickoff.
And the All Blacks have kicked it just outside South Africa's 22 on New Zealand's left-hand side, as Hendrickse now clears to Jasper Wiese, who makes a couple of meters. The Springboks set the ruck. Just waiting for the ball to come back. Hendrickse rolls it out with his boot, and he'll now kick his charge down by Scott Barrett. But Handré Pollard has managed to recover the referee's whistle goes, and Pollard, for his pains, gets a horrible tackle right in the kidneys, and he's just stayed down for a little bit, but he's up, clutching his back. Yeah, that would have hurt.
Yeah, clutching the right-hand side of his hip bone, as I think his back just got overextended and then driven down into the ground by George Bauer there. New Zealand trying as they might, just not getting any luck. The Springboks' defense has been phenomenal. It is so impressive to see this team just carry on from what they did against Wales.
Well, they seem to have taken it a step up here at the home of the Currie Cup champions, of course, in Mpumalanga Pumas, as Pollard has found touch about 3 or 4 meters inside New Zealand's, no less, just a meter or so inside New Zealand's 10-meter line, as Jasper Wiese comes across to Bongi Mbanami and gives him the line-out call. Mbanami complaining about the All Blacks, who are definitely closing the gap at the line-out. And yes, quite right, referee Angus Gardner. He's given the Springboks a free kick.
Take us home, Coach Dave and Mr. Borland. I'll be watching and listening. Enjoy.
Thank you so much for your time.
Welcome back, David.
Good to be back.
Yeah,
with
16.
You. Good to be back with
16-3 to the Springboks. And they have decided to take a scrum. So 10 meters in from touch and on the All Blacks 10-meter line. Just some tackle stats. South Africa have made 71 tackles and missed 11. New Zealand have made 105 tackles and have only missed 6. So we do need to credit the All Blacks defence for a stout effort tonight, has restricted the Springboks to just 1 try, as Hendrickson feeds and breaks blind. He's got Kirkley Arnson with him, but he doesn't pass. He goes through the tackle. And Kwaka Smith now with the ball goes left to Franco Mostert, who makes some ground. Hendrickson and one of the Springboks has gone off his feet again at the ruck. Bongi and Mbanami, I think. It's the one aspect of their play where the Springboks have been a little bit disappointing tonight, going off their feet at the breakdown.
Yeah, Vincent Koch, the guilty party there.
Sorry, Bongi.
10 penalties conceded by the All Blacks, whilst 6 have been conceded by the Springboks. 16-3, 62nd minute.
As it will be a line out just outside South Africa's 10-meter line. New Zealand throw, of course, because it was their penalty. As Dane Coles throws it in. Great contest by the Springboks at the front, and they tap the ball back, but it's gone a bit untidily back inside their 22. Kirkley Arnson clears up and will kick towards the near touchline, and will find a good touch there. So just a pity, South Africa making the line out still, but then rather messy on the floor to give away a line out.
Great follow-up as well in terms of chasing down your own kick by Kirkley Arnson there. Great work, but I think they're going to take a throw inside the Springboks 22. I'm not quite sure what happened there. A knock on?
Because the ball was tapped back into the 22, carried into the 22, and then Arnson kicked directly into touch. So it's a bad mistake by him, as the All Blacks set the rolling maul, but they're not really making much headway. They're getting a bit of a move on now, making a few inches. Sam Cane at the back. He pops it out to Aaron Smith, to David Havili, who steps away from Andre Pollard, but he still makes the tackle, and the ball has been lost by New Zealand. But I fancy there's a penalty advantage coming for the All Blacks. Dane Coles losing the ball in the tackle there.
Yeah, good combination work there by Springbok forwards to prevent things from going much further. Nevertheless, they'll have their own feed, will the Springboks, inside their 22, about 5 meters or 10 meters out from their try line. 42,367 in attendance this evening at Mbombela.
Yeah, a bit surprised Angus Gardner didn't play a bit more advantage there. He blew the whistle so quickly, I thought he was giving the All Blacks something. But Springboks will be relieved. The scrum deep inside their 22, though, still, although they have dominated at scrum time.
Yeah, it's strange, Ken, what we've seen with Bongi Mbanambi and Eben Etzebeth and now Malcolm Marx. Players getting milestone games and absolutely having a blinder.
Wonderful to see, yeah, wonderful to see indeed. And presumably that means that Frans Malherbe is going to have a blinder at Ellis Park next week because it'll be his 50th Test match.
Yes. I'd love to see. He's been a workhorse and a servant for the South African game, has Frans Malherbe.
The anchor of their scrum. It all starts at tight head, and another very, very good scrummaging display by the Springboks today. So hats off to Frans Malherbe. Has certainly done his job. Vincent Koch has replaced him probably about 5 minutes ago now, as they prepare to scrum about 6 or 7 meters away from the Springbok try line, so they'll want to be very efficient here. Hendrickse feeds. It's very solid by the Springboks, and Hendrickse will run a few yards and then kick himself towards the near side touchline, and he will find touch.
Good kick. Better this time from South Africa's basically number 9 coming in the first minute of the game.
Yeah, as New Zealand off the line out, Aaron Smith. And it goes down the back line, but it's a skew line-out throw by New Zealand. Word. So their woes are just multiplying. Oh, it was it was blatantly. I mean, it wasn't even skew. It was basically straight to the middle of the front guy at the New Zealand line-out.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Dane Coles playing his 82nd Test. He's been a great servant of All Blacks rugby, but demoted to the bench these days and not making a great start to this game either.
But there have been a number of line-out issues for the All Blacks this evening, which is something that they'll want to rectify before Ellis Park next week.
Set pieces in general, scrums and line-out, such a important part of the game and 2 really strong points of the Springboks as they feed the scrum 10 metres in from touch and on their own 10-metre line. Bit of a shove on by the All Blacks, but the Springboks get the ball out clean enough. It goes blind to Arendse, who launches an up and under infield, and a fantastic take by Geordie Barrett, who goes to ground, and the ball comes back to Aaron Smith, to Ardie Savea, out wide to Caleb Clark. But Curtly Arendse, manful in defence with the support of Eben Etzebeth, Bongi Mbanambi, and they force Clark into touch. It will be a Springbok line-out.
A little bit of a late shove there on Bongi Mbanambi. Like you said, the man was already out, Caleb Clark, and so he towered over the All Black defender who tried to move an immovable object.
So South Africa have had 70% territory, which is really quite remarkable, as Mbanambi feeds on the All Black 10-metre line, taken by Mostert in the middle. South Africa set them all. It's not going anywhere too quickly, and referee calls 1, but now they've got it on the go. Crabbing sideways a bit, Jaden Hendrickse runs up and takes the ball and feeds to Dialendi. The All Blacks defence up quickly, but he manages to get over the 10-metre line. Hendrickse to Pollard, flat to Damien Willemse joining the line, but his pass back to Pollard goes astray. And in fact, the pass from Pollard to Willemse has been ruled forward.
Yeah, no doubt here. Angus Gardner is having a very good game. To pick that up that quickly is excellent from him. An Aussie who's come under some fire in times gone by, but today on his game.
Yeah, he's been good. I think the last couple of times he's refereed the Springboks, just marginally forward there by Pollard. So a good spot by the referee, as you say, David. And it'll be an All Black scrum pretty much in the middle of the field and 5 meters inside their own half. Let's see if they can get a solid platform now for themselves. Shannon Frizzell is on the field on the side of the scrum, earning his 18th cap for the All Blacks, and referee Garden is not happy. They will have to reset this.
Some heaving chests there. They're sucking in the air there. It's not going to be so easy next week with the game at altitude. You've got to get used to those conditions very quickly.
Yeah, Nelspruit, of course, in the low veld of South Africa, so it's not really altitude. And to be fair, though, New Zealand have produced some cracking test matches at altitude, both in Johannesburg and in Pretoria. So they won't be too worried about that. But they've got to get through this test match first. 16-3 down at the moment in the 69th minute as Aaron Smith feeds, and he goes left to Richie Mongo, who does a little punt kick, but it's given possession away to the Springboks. And Damien Willemse on a weaving run. Sia Khaleesi up in support and tidies the ball up for the ruck. Hendrickson, just inside his own 22, will take his time, no rush at all. And here he kicks the up and under, which is going to go directly into touch. Good clearance by the scrum off, and you mentioned it earlier, David. What a good job he's done, having to come on in the first minute of the game when Faf de Klerk went off concussed.
Absolutely, as we see number 23, Finlay Christie on the park as the replacement scrummy. He goes now, the ball going through the hands of the All Blacks as it heads to the near side of the park. Slipped in the right-hand wing, did Will Jordan, was supported by Burden Barrett, as New Zealand trying to find their way through. Christie again looking for some options left and right. He goes infield now. Ball going through the hands, brought down, middle of the park. Stephen Kitsoff working hard to slow down the All Blacks and prevent a gain line advantage. Through that field goes number 11, Caleb Clark. He's had an interesting game. Somebody who's come from the outer echelons of rugby. Christie in again now. He throws it to De Groot, who is managing to get some forward momentum. Barrett on the ball. Bowden this time as Lukhanyo brings him down, and it looked like somebody was off their feet. It was Sam Cane, the skipper, emulating another number 7 for New Zealand. This time not able to get away with it. We won't speak about who he was.
It was one of the All Blacks' core players, I presume you are referring to. But Sam Cane a bit unlucky there because he kind of tripped over Sia Khaleesi and then never really regained his balance and fell over into the ruck. He probably could have tried a bit harder.
Yeah, or just not get involved in that ruck. I think that split second decision. South Africa going for poles here, near side of the park, about 25 meters in from the near side touchline.
He's an open side flank, David. He's got to get involved. It's his job description.
But sometimes in the moment, you've got to take a breath and think, oh, I'm not going to come right here.
100%.
Yeah. Not so easy when you're
those are the best.
Box.
Those are the best open side flanks who know which ones to go for and which ones to leave. Know when to fold them, as the classic song goes.
Absolutely. David Pocock and who was the other one that springs to mind? A South African short. He used to wear a white scrum.
Heinrich Brousseau.
Brousseau, yes. Right. Pollard steps up, hits it. Is it through? It is. South Africa take a 16-point lead. It's 19 points to 3 in the 73rd minute of this game. And this last 10 minutes, Ken, is going to change the way these two approach game number 2, because if South Africa pull off a win here, you know that the All Blacks are going to give it full beans. I think if New Zealand pull off a surprise win here, which is all within the realm of possibility, although perhaps far-fetched, is going to be a game for the ages. Kwagga Smith catching this about 15 meters inside his own half. Then Hendricks are looking for options. The caller views it once, is now forthcoming. Even Kickoff maybe looking to play offensive tackler here as Hendrikse sets up. High hanging box kick. Kurtley Arendse looking to be the recipient. Smashing Burden Barrett there, but great hands to offload. Ari Severe on the ball now. South Africa smashing the All Blacks in terms of not giving them the ability to get some space. Kane right through the hands now to Richie Mo'unga, an absolute legend within New Zealand rugby, although he hasn't really lived up to his potential in terms of performing for 50 games. This is an absolute huge smash on Ethan de Groot, driven back, and New Zealand are trying to find an option to get anywhere. This is sideways movement now from Ari Severe. Christie looking to go. He goes to Sam Whitelock, who is brought down just over his 22, probably about 26 or so meters. Christie again going to the near side, but this one is hung high in the air by David Havili. Who will get on the end of it? It's Andre Pollard. He's got Kurtley Arendse and Sia Kolisi in support. Hendrikse having to do a bit of digging to the bottom of that ruck. Vincent Koch now with some support from his lock forward in Eben Etzebeth and Stephen Kickoff, the prop forward. Jasper Visser joining the ruck now with some covering from Bongi Mbanambi and Franco Mostert. Arendse again in the intended recipient as this one goes high into the 22. Wow, my word, he's taken out Burden Barrett there, and there is almost certainly a card coming. Ken Borland, that was reckless.
Yeah, that could well be a red card, I'm afraid, for Kurtley Arendse. He was nowhere near contesting for the ball. He just ran straight into the legs of Burden Barrett and took them out. And this is going to be a sad end to Kurtley Arendse's game. Both players are currently lying flat on their backs on the field, not looking in good shape. But Kurtley Arendse is most definitely going to get a card for this, and it could well be red, which would presumably rule him out of the Ellis Park test as well. A great shame.
Yeah. Which is a stress for the Springboks, purely because of Chisholm Colby's injury. So they're going to go upstairs. Here is Angus Gardner. He'll go to his teammate in the TV box, the television match official for this game, Brett Cronin. Ken, talk us through this one. Nowhere near.
Yeah, just from first look, Arendse's got his eyes on the ball. Barrett goes up, and Arendse just keeps running. He hasn't even got his arms up to try and compete for the ball. He just crashes. He actually turns a bit, crashes straight into Barrett. Barrett's hip hits him on the head for good measure, but there's no doubt that the fault there lies with Arendse.
Yeah, and Barrett's landed essentially on his neck. That is a challenge that he won't be willing to do anything with. He's been given a red. It's the unsurprising result for Arendse. Oh no, Kurtley Arendse, and he could have injured himself as well.
Yeah, I think he might well be concussed because Barrett's hip rather, connecting with Arendse's head. But unfortunately, after the fine game he's had, it's very much his own fault. And he's blotted his own copybook, as they say. Burden Barrett is sitting up, and the doctor is just checking out his neck and his mobility there. But it's a very disappointing end for Arendse. So South Africa will have only 14 men for the last 5 and a bit minutes of this game. They lead by 16 points. But could this just be the little change in fortunes that will spark the All Blacks, who, to be fair, it's been difficult to see where New Zealand are going to get a try from. So good has the Springbok defence been.
I think to compound their misery, Ken, it's been one where handling errors and passes to nowhere, as you alluded to, have kind of ruined their plans for attacking rugby. You've got to be in sync, you've got to be well gelled, and you've got to know where your next pass is going to go to and who will be that recipient. But that's just been the All Blacks this evening. Inconsistent and unconvincing.
And I think a lot of that is because of the Springbok rush defence. It's just been so ferocious tonight. I mean, they've really got off the line quickly. They've scrambled well. They've given nothing away on the gain line. So credit to the Springboks because they've certainly harried the All Blacks tonight.
Just having a look at the crowd at Mbombela, Ken, I mean, it's always a magical experience to be at a Springbok game, but none more so when the possibility of beating an All Black side is looming. Those fans will be enjoying every single moment of these final 5 and so minutes.
Well, they'll be hoping that Arnsah being sent off is not the beginning of a change in tide for this game, because South Africa have certainly dominated pretty much throughout, and they've been full value for their 16-point lead so far. And just their kicking game has really also been a key aspect of their success tonight, along with excellent set-piece work and dominance at the breakdowns as well. A few great turnovers in this game for the Springboks as well.
Certainly, All Blacks struggling under the high ball. There's still some medical attention being given to those two players. That high ball has been the Achilles heel for the All Blacks this evening. And do you imagine, Ken, other than injury enforced changes, where the New Zealand team will look to shift their game in such a short turnaround time?
It's difficult because their problems have started in the set pieces. They already changed their tight head and their hooker for this game. The guys who've replaced them in the second half off the bench haven't really improved matters much. In terms of lineouts, Sam Whitelock and Scott Barrett are two very experienced locks, high quality locks, especially Sam Whitelock. You just wonder if there's anyone better than them really in the New Zealand squad. You know, it's no use replacing people if the people coming in aren't going to be able to do a better job. So, it's difficult to know what the All Blacks can do to turn this around.
Play getting underway once again. It's a punt for the New Zealanders, out into touch, far side of the park. Now, line out going. It's on the 10-meter line of the All Blacks. Hands are working hard here. This is much better from the men in black, and the referee has blown the whistle because Damien Delende has been obstructed. We just spoke about how they need to fix their errors. They get some hands, and then somebody stands in the way of progress.
You know, I can't remember seeing an All Blacks backline that's been so disjointed and so lacking cohesion, the word you used earlier, David, as in this game. And perhaps not such a bright idea to fire your assistant coaches just before a test match against the Springboks, because the new guys coming in have not had a lot of time to work with this backline, as it was Quinn Tupaya, I think, who obstructed Dialendi as he was trying to get across to David Havili.
Right, scrum now.
It's been called
to the near side of the park, inside the All Black half. Springbok feed. Hendrikse at the back of the ruck. Now to Willemse. Grab a kick and it's cut off by Richie Mwanga. Hands going through the hands now. Well done by the All Blacks as Tupea gets brought down near side of the park. Now they've got the opportunity to turn defense into attack. Brought down, probably middle of the park, Tupuovai. Christie on the ball once again. And now South Africa have to find that resolute defense that they've been working so hard on. Right to the 10-meter line goes Rico Ioane. Christie now again with Adi Savia becoming painful ever more so as South Africa head towards the final 3 minutes 20 seconds. As a handling error at the back. Lucanio Arm, they've allowed play to go on, has absolutely broken through everything and then brought down inside the All Blacks 22. Franco Mostert at the back of the ruck to Kitsoff. and then Hendrickse, a chip and chase, and that's going to go out on the full. That's why you don't have Lucy's kicking the ball. Kwagga Smith, right idea. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, pity. With a 6-2 split on the bench and Faf de Klerk getting injured in the first minute, there would have been a lot of concern in the Springbok camp if they had another backline injury. And if they did, Kwagga Smith would probably have been the guy to fill in in the backline. But he'll need to up his kicking game if he's going to do that properly.
Surprisingly, they haven't brought Willie Leroux on. Finlay Christie now finds his teammate with number 20 on his back, Shannon Frizzell, as ball trying to find some solution. Kwagga Smith tackling as if he wasn't in the back line. Breaking through here. There's an opportunity for the All Blacks to get away. Can he do it? Can he beat Damian Willemse? 5 meters out, Damian Willemse makes a fantastic tackle on Caleb Clark. The All Blacks are going to score the try in the corner. It was a fantastic run by Caleb Clark. My, oh my, did they change the game there. There's only 2 minutes, so you presume it's still game done. But boy, oh boy, Ken. Shannon Frizzell getting a 4th international try. Wow.
Well, Caleb Clark has probably been the best, along with Bowden Barrett, backline player for the All Blacks today. He just hasn't had that much opportunity out on the left wing. But he was now in the middle of the field and broke through superbly. He's such a powerful runner with the ball. And great effort by Damian Willemse to bring him down inside the 22. But the All Blacks quickly up in support and able to convert. And for South Africa, it's a pity that they got that try, because the biggest winning margin the Springboks ever had against the All Blacks is 17 points. They were on 16, but breaking that record will now almost certainly be out the window.
Well, there is still 2 minutes left in this game, but Caleb Clark, he put on the skates. Almost a try-saving tackle, as you said, from Willemse, but too many men in support with black shirts, and Frizzell was all too confident in stretching for the line. 1 minute, 50 seconds. Anything is possible. South Africa playing with 14 men after Kurtley Arendse was shown a red card. Right, Leroux on for Lucanio Am. High in the air from Pollard. Good catch, and now there's going to be a maul here. The ball immediately falls down as Christie's begging with the referee to say, I can't get the ball, please help me out here. He's not going to get some support. He eventually now has to dig it out. Christie to Ardie Sevilla over his own 22-meter line. Finlay Christie once again. Ball going to the near side of the park. There's a spiral pass outside there for Rico Ioane. Can he break away from a Springbok? No, he can't. He gets over his own 22. Finlay Christie now with the quick ball on to Will Jordan, who tried to break through a half gap there. Bonambi bringing down number 19, Tupor Va'ai, just over that 22-meter line. Springboks with great rush defense. There's a knockback here by Shannon Frizzell. The try scorer, Willie Leroux, manages to pick it up, and he's scored it. Has he scored? Yes! Willie Leroux, with less than 10 seconds on the clock, has scored. It was a fumbling error there. The man who's been on the park for about all of a sneeze, and he scored. What a legend.
Well, he's ruined my Super Brew prediction, which was Springboks by 9. But Willie Leroux, with his first touch of the ball, and then his second touch was to actually dot the ball down and score. So that's a real impact player there, Willie Leroux.
Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. That's incredible. Shannon Frizzell from hero to zero, a fumble, giving away the try, and 23. Ken, that's going to be one of the quickest tries after coming on the park.
Yeah, for sure. And for the umpteenth time, a drop ball in the All Blacks backline. And Shannon Frizzell really was under absolutely no pressure there at all. And lovely to see Willie Leroux and Jaden Hendrickse jumping into the crowd outside the in-goal area there to celebrate what is now confirmed as a tremendous Springbok victory. 24-10, they're up with the conversion to come, which Andre Pollard is waiting for a ball, which I'm pretty sure he'll pop over. So it will be a 16-point victory margin for the Springboks, which ranks as one of their most convincing ever over the All Blacks.
A simply clinical performance from the Springboks. And Mbombela, first game of Rugby Championship, and how will that dominate the momentum? I said at the top of the broadcast that these two sides could easily be considered as favorites coming into this tournament, but the Springboks today have just been brilliant. Some blemishes in terms of Kurtley Arendse being the man sent off, and the worries in terms of some injuries around him and Faf de Klerk. But wow, oh wow, it's always a Springbok victory that brings a smile to my face.
Well, and also, it was just so clinical. That's one of the most impressive Springbok wins I've seen, just in terms of sticking to a game plan and executing it perfectly. They perhaps could have been a bit more ruthless in terms of rounding off their dominance, but you can't argue with a 24-10 win over the All Blacks. It started with the set pieces. Scrums and lineouts were superb. The breakdown work was excellent, and the kicking game of the Springboks was just absolutely outstanding, and the All Blacks really struggled under the high ball. And then, of course, the Springboks defence, that rush defence, they really got up off the line so quickly, harried and hassled the All Blacks, and to see an All Black side make so many basic errors was also most unusual, but testament to the pressure they were under.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ken. Thank you, Otto Simon. And thank you to you, listeners, who have joined in with us this evening. We will see you next week for another rugby broadcast. 5 minutes past 5 South African time. GMT +2 is where we find ourselves in the time zones. And we will be bringing you once again South Africa and New Zealand, this time from the local stadium to One World Sports Radio at Ellis Park, the home, or arguably, although don't tell Ken because he's a Natal man, of South African rugby. I'm going to say it. It's everything Joburg. Absolutely. So thank you, Ken, for your time this evening. Thank you, Otto Simon, and from all of us at One World Sports Radio, thank you and have a good evening.